Here are the general steps to create a pivot table in Microsoft Excel, which is one of the most widely used spreadsheet software. Step 1. Prepare your data. Ensure that your data is organized in a tabular format with column headers, and there are no blank rows or columns within your data set. Step 2. Select your data, click anywhere within your dataset, and go to the Insert tab in the Excel ribbon. Step 3. Create the pivot table. In the Insert tab, click on the Pivot Table button, and select Pivot Table from the drop-down menu. Step 4. Choose the data range. In the Create Pivot Table dialog box, make sure the correct data range is selected, and choose where you want to place the pivot table, for example, a new worksheet, or an existing worksheet. Step 5. Design the pivot table. Once you've created the pivot table, you can design it by dragging and dropping fields from your data set into the rows, columns values, and filters areas of the pivot table fields pane. Rows, fields dragged into this area will be used as row labels in the pivot table. Columns, fields dragged into this area will be used as column labels in the pivot table. Values, fields dragged into this area will be used as the values to be summarized in the pivot table. You can choose various summary functions such as sum, average, count, etc. Filters, fields dragged into this area can be used as filters to selectively display data in the pivot table. Step 6. Customize the pivot table. You can further customize the appearance and behavior of the pivot table by right-clicking on various elements of the pivot table, for example, cells, rows, columns, and selecting options from the context menu. You can also apply formatting, change the pivot table layout, and apply various calculations and sorting options. Step 7. Refresh the pivot table. If your source data changes, you can refresh the pivot table to update the results. Right-click on any cell within the pivot table, and select Refresh from the context menu. These are the basic steps to create a pivot table in Microsoft Excel. Keep in mind that pivot table features may vary slightly across different spreadsheet software, but the general concepts and functionality remain similar. Exploring and experimenting with pivot tables using your own data can help you gain hands-on experience and become proficient in using this powerful data analysis tool.